Life is precious, and we all have the opportunity of living it to the fullest. Unfortunately, so few of us know how to manage it all. How do we account for our opportunities? How do we account for our time? How do we account for our relationships, health, spirituality, homes, finances, influence, and careers? How do we account for the one life we have to live? I am so glad you asked. In this program, you will find answers to all of these questions and more. Welcome to the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore.
Today, man, I think we found something. And here's the title: Unlocking the Secrets of Productivity. We're gonna look at the Word of God. We're gonna look at what the Word of God says about being productive. We'll also look at the word produce. We'll also look at the word productivity, and we're going to answer the question: how does one get productive? I'm going to answer those questions. So today on this podcast, what a super and incredible and awesome and wonderful and outstanding and great opportunity we have to be productive. Today, we're going to unlock some secrets. So before we do that, make sure you get the ebook. Get Your Breakthrough Now. If you want to unlock your financial mindset, it's almost like a workbook. It's a story in a workbook where you can answer questions so that you can literally unlock that mindset that makes people more money than they ever thought they could. If that's you, go to thehealthyaccountants.com, and it's right there on the homepage. Click it and you'll be able to download that book just by putting in your name and your email address. So this podcast today is something I think I've talked about this topic before. This isn't the first time that I've talked about unlocking the secrets of productivity, and then the biblical reference that we're going to use. I know that I've done a podcast on it before. So when I thought about this particular thing, and I thought about being productive and producing something, part of what's in the Word of God is that to be productive is to work. To be productive is to work. Now, I didn't actually have this particular verse queued up, but if you go to, I think it's Genesis chapter 2 and verse 5, and in that verse, it talks about how God said, before he can allow anything to be produced, before he would allow the water to come up out of the ground, he had to figure out something. He had to figure out, man, well, who's going to manage this thing that I'm creating? Who's going to do that? And once he knew who was going to manage it, that's when he created the world. That's when he created man. So he said, so if I'm going to produce something, right? If I'm thinking about producing something, I'm thinking about these businesses that we're literally growing right now. Well, who's going to manage it after I'm gone? Who's going to manage it when I'm finished? That's a question that we've got to ask. And so when we look at the Word of God, let's look at the Word of God real quick. And let's look at what the Word says and what we can learn from the Word of God. So in Proverbs chapter 6, 6 through 8, it says, go to the ant, you sluggard. What is a sluggard? You lazy bump. Go there and consider the ways of the ant. All right, before we go any further, a lot of times when things are written in the Bible, they are written practical. They are written for you to get a practical lesson. So the ant is small. So first, let's think about what the ant is. The ant represents something that's so small that even if this thing that is so small and insignificant, if this insignificant thing can do something, then what's wrong with you? So that's in essence where we're starting at. It says, consider the ant's ways and go be wise. Don't be dumb. I'm not calling you dumb. Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler. Now here's the thing. A lot of us need somebody to kick them in the pants. A lot of us need somebody to say, hey man, let's get motivated. The ant doesn't need any motivation. The ant doesn't need a president. The ant doesn't need a mother or a father. The ant doesn't need anybody to say, go to work. Let me go back to Genesis. See, in Genesis, in those first couple of chapters, there's a lot to learn. And There was a time, I think it's in Genesis chapter 2, when God is talking to Adam, and God is saying, okay, he's probably saying to himself, all right, well, we gotta get all this other stuff done. Let me make sure he knows what he's doing, because he already programmed Adam. So he brings Adam to all of the creatures, and he tells Adam to become himself by naming all the creatures. And so then Adam, no cues from God. God's not telling him, oh, that's a cat. No, God just said, what is that? Oh, that's a cat. What is that? That's a lion. What is that? That's a fig tree. What is that? That's a chimpanzee. What is that? Like, he's asking him what everything is, and Adam's just telling him what it is. See, to be productive truly is to know what your true work is. I heard Dr. Miles talk about this some years ago when I first came under the from followers to leaders and leaders to agents of change. When I came under Dr. Miles and started learning about the kingdom, and and then when he helped me to understand what work really is. Work. What is work? We're almost finished with this. What is work? Work is to become yourself. So Adam had to become himself. What about you and me? What is your work? Do you know what your work is? Do you know what God created you for? See, these are things that a lot of times we go into fields. I go into accounting. I go into medicine. I go into consulting. I go into be a teacher. We're going into things, but we don't know what our work is. And the reason why a lot of times we don't like going to work and we want to call out and, we want to take time off is because the thing that we're doing, the job that we're doing, is not helping us to become ourselves. See, we're going to be productive. We have to become ourselves. Let's keep going. Verse 8, it says that, let's finish. Which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer and gather her food in the harvest. What is that saying? That's saying the ant does what it needs to do today, so that when it needs the food, he already has it. He doesn't have to, he's not waiting for the harvest. He's doing everything now. It's like, to be productive. It's like what is productivity? Like, productivity is effectiveness. That's what productivity is. Productivity is effectiveness. So we think about that, like, wait a second. See, because you could be doing something but not be effective. I'll be honest, I wasn't effective with my podcast. I wasn't effective. I was producing it. I was doing it. And there's a lot to say about when you do something, you produce something, because look, here's what I was doing. I was bringing it into existence. I was producing it and it's coming out, but I wasn't being as effective with the podcast as I need to. Like, literally, I had to create. I had to say, you know what? How can I be more effective? I need to know everything about this podcast. I know everything about the podcast. I need to know the metrics. I need to know, well, how many people watched it? How many people listened to it? How many people downloaded it? How many people was in the impression of it? Like, did we get new subscribers? Like, all these things. I have to know these things. Like, what's the total amount of this? And, did anybody comment? Did anybody like it? Did anybody share it? Like, literally, I have to keep track every day, every podcast. Because if I'm going to bring it into existence, it's got to be effective. But that's what, a lot of times when you produce something, you bring something into existence, but that doesn't mean it's effective. See, what is to produce something? It's food. I was just having a conversation with my wife, Jenny, and we were talking about, money and how money circulates. And it was interesting because One of the things that I'm shifting into this mindset, this new mindset, that whenever there's money that's needed, you don't go into your pocket and pull it out. You go into your creativity and you pull it out. You pull it out from your production. Because when you need to eat, like if I need to eat, I need to produce something. If I need to go and buy something, I should be producing something if it's not already accounted for in the production. So when something new comes up, it's like, oh, I need to produce more food. But here's the thing. Here's what's interesting about this whole mindset shift. This is the shift that millionaires make, billionaires make. They make the shift so that when they produce something, they know that it's going to keep producing for them over and over and over. But many of us haven't come to this. It's like if I'm going to write a book, I'm not just writing a book. I wasn't in this awareness before. I'm not just writing a book just so I can say I wrote a book. I'm writing a book because I'm producing food. That book will produce, I don't care how much, the book could be $5. The book could be $10. The book is going to produce food. So if we're going to unlock the secrets of productivity, we got to understand, okay, if I produce something, that means it's food, right? Producing something is bringing something into existence. Now, productivity, which is a secret here, it's a secret hack, and we're gonna walk through a hack of being productive, being effective. Anybody want that? I think I want it. So, if I was listening to this, I would want it because I would be sitting here like, yeah, this is good. Now, how can I be more productive? I've learned a lot of things about productivity over the years. So I have to distill this down to some of the things, but I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned in my productivity journey. One of the first things I learned in being productive is you must cancel everything. You must get rid of everything. Get rid of everything. You want to be productive, get rid of everything. What do I mean by that? Get rid of, because if you haven't been productive, or if you feel like what you've been doing is not working, then you can just suspend. This is like suspending all of your current beliefs. Suspend them all. Just get rid of them. So you know what? I don't have to. Maybe I don't get rid of everything because I don't know what's all in there, right? But for today, I'm going to get rid of all of the things or how I used to think. I'm going to suspend my way of thinking. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, all right, well, who's thinking the way I'd like to think? Darren Hardy was my first productivity mentor. If you know who he is, check him out, Darren Hardy. He is an amazing productivity coach. And I invested probably $1,500 back in 2014, maybe 2014, 15. $1,500. First time. This was my first, that was the first time I'd invested that kind of money. That was a lot of money at the time because I'd never done it. $1,500 into a productivity course. And so he's like, get rid of everything. And then as you get rid of everything, then you got to pick stuff up. What did I pick up from Darren Hardy? I'm going to tell you one of the things I picked up from him that I still do today. Cut your phone off or turn it off. No, keep it off. Don't respond. He told me, don't respond to everybody. Why don't I respond to everything? Or why do I not pay attention to emails or text messages? Because it's going to take away from my productivity. Or maybe maybe there's only 10 minutes I spend on email a day, or a certain amount of time that I spend responding to messages. Like, you got to schedule it. But I ain't sitting here waiting for somebody to text me all day long so that I'm kind of like doing this all day long. So I learned that from Darren Hardy. You know, what else I learned from him? Man, I learned that you got to sit down. You got to sit down for an hour and do something. 90 minutes. He called it the 90-minute jam session. Sit down. I do this almost every day now. Almost every day. I sit down and have jam sessions. Like this is a part of the jam session. I do a recording. From the recording, I make the show notes. from that, I'm making tweets, I'm making posts, I do the whole thing. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I do it, I'm doing it is because I'm learning how it works. Then from there, because this is new, like this is a new part of the process. Then I'm going to hire somebody because I know what to do. I'm not hiring anybody to tell me how to do it unless certain things I can outsource and say, hey, because they know how to edit videos, I'll tell them, I'll say, well, here are the show notes. Here are the show notes. Here are the tweets. Here's all the stuff that's in there. Now they can go edit the videos. But I wasn't doing that before. But I'm just saying, I spend an hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours just working, becoming myself. Learn that from Darren Hardy. Another one, not from Darren Hardy, but from John Maxwell. Now, I didn't actually take any classes with John Maxwell. John Maxwell is the world's #1 leadership expert. John Maxwell is. I must have at least 10 books of his, and I listened to, podcasts and videos of John. And one of the things I learned from John was a daily routine. He said, you got to have a daily 5. What's a daily 5? A daily 5 is like 5 things that you're going to do every single day. This has nothing to do with your normal schedule or like this. I'm sorry. This doesn't have anything to do with stuff that come up. I'm not going to say a normal schedule because this is your schedule. Like this is your normal thing. You want to knock out these 5 things every single day, or these 3 things every single day before you allow the day to come in. Everybody that's successful does this. Like what would you put in there? Reading. I put reading in there. I put praying in there. I put exercise in there. I put these jam sessions in there. I put, marketing efforts in there. Like, so you have your 5 things that you do every day. First, you do these things first. So think about it. I'm like an ant. I'm using the wisdom of an ant because the ant is not saying to themselves when they need to eat, man, I need to go get some food. No, the ant already went and gathered up. The ant already went and set stuff up. So when it's time to eat, the ant got plenty. Ant's got plenty. The ant already produced. The ant already brought it into existence. And at the end, the ant became productive and their method made them effective. See, unlocking the secrets of productivity, it's not really a secret, guys. And when I say it's not really a secret, in 2023, and as we head into 2024, there are no secrets to the things you want to know about. You want to know about business? There's thousands of people, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people that you could easily find and do the stuff that they talk about. Now, here's the problem. You can't do things from 1,000 people. And what I've discovered over a decent amount of time, you can't even do things with a few people. You actually have to just distill it down to 1. And when I say distill it down to 1, I'm not saying you can't have multiple coaches, but during a certain time period, you should only have 1. Like maybe all of 2024, 1 coach. But here's the thing, you could potentially have a coach for life. Now, but what you'll discover as long as if that coach is meeting one need and there's another need, go find another coach for that need. But keep the coach that's already helping you in the thing. See, as long as you don't pass them, but if they're still in front of you, if you're still learning from them, you got to keep that coach around. I wish Dr. Miles was here, but you know what? Dr. Miles isn't here, so I still listen to his stuff. I can't even say I wish. I listen to his stuff. Maybe not every day like I used to, but I still listen to his stuff. Like John Maxwell, I haven't read these books and I haven't really listened to his stuff lately, or Darren Hardy. Maybe that was a season. Sometimes it's a season that you go through. But it's available. So we don't have any excuse. If you're going to unlock these secrets, think of yourself as having ant wisdom. I got ant wisdom today. And because I have ant wisdom today, I wanted to share it with you. So hopefully you watch this podcast. Maybe you took some notes. Hey, if you didn't take any notes, if you go into the description, there's a summary in the description of this podcast. And make sure you can go online to our website, thehealthyaccountants.com, and you can download the free ebook, on unlocking your financial mindset, right? So if you want to unlock your financial mindset, go onto the website and get that book. It's totally free. Download that. Now, here's the thing. Why do I offer that? Because you want to unlock the secrets. And if you're here, that means that it's possible that you may want some of those secrets. So come back tomorrow. We're here every day. We recently changed the schedule. We're 9 a.m. every day, 7 days a week. You will see and hear a podcast being produced. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Healthy Accountant. And if you're watching on Spotify or iTunes, make sure you subscribe there as well. Look, we want to make sure that Spotify and iTunes and YouTube know that you guys were there. If you like this, press the like button, because when they know that you're there, then they will share it with other people like you. We're looking to get to 1 million people. Can you help us? Thank you. Guys, I appreciate you for joining me for this episode of the Account for Life podcast, Unlocking the Secrets of Productivity, the Wisdom of an Ant. God bless you, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Thanks for joining us, listening friends. We are so glad you invested this time with us. Always remember, you only have one life to live, so live it to the fullest. This has been the Account for Your Life podcast with your host, the healthy accountant himself, Jay Moore. Until next time, make it a great day.